Do we have to let people in or?
I think they'll be able to join automatically.
Yeah. And do we see as they join? I can't remember. We'll see when we can see our screen, but are we seeing as they join?
It looks like we might have one person in so
Okay.
far. All right, so if you're coming in for the virtual college exploration, welcome. Feel free to keep in mind everything that's listed here on screen. We'll get started with our presentation in just a quick moment, but we want to make sure that everyone's in the room ready to go before we get started. And we will also have our Q&A open throughout the entire session, so definitely feel free to ask us any questions at any time. Okay, so with that, okay, so just in the interest of time, just want to make sure we get started. So for everyone here today, welcome to Ohio Wesleyan University's information session. We're really happy to have you here. Like I mentioned before, definitely feel free to use the Q&A with any questions you might have for us today. And throughout the next 45 minutes, we'll be talking about Ohio Wesleyan, different opportunities and resources for you to explore should you choose Ohio Wesleyan. And first, we'll get started with introductions. As for myself, my name is Nicole Dean-Zumba. I am the Western Pennsylvania representative, and I'm also an alum in the class of 2014. I also went to high school in the Pittsburgh area, so it's a little bit bittersweet for me to not be home around this time visiting high schools, but really happy to have you all on the call today. And I'll turn it over to my colleague Dave for the next introduction.
Hello there. I'm Dave Froman. I'm Associate Director of Admission, and I actually, and at least Dory knows this, I don't know, Savannah, if you are aware, that I actually live in Pennsylvania. I am living in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, and a little bit, so the picture is of our, of the library in Slocum and the beautiful stained glass windows in the ceiling. But in any event, for the first 28 years of my career, I was a men's basketball coach. And after coaching, I went into admissions. And I was in admissions for a while in school in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, where we live. And now this is my fourth year with Ohio Wesleyan. And I cover Eastern Pennsylvania, along with a good number of other states along the East Coast of the United States, and welcome you to today's session. Excited to have you with Nicole, myself, and our two panelists who are going to introduce themselves now. First, Olivia.
Great, thanks, Dave. Hi, everyone. My name is Olivia Gillison. I am a graduate of the class of 2014. Nicole and I are classmates from OWU together. I went to Friends Central High School, which is right outside of the city of Philadelphia, where I currently reside. And currently I'm employed with the Office of Emergency Management for the city. But I also have continued my swimming career as a part-time coach with my old club. While at OWU, I was a triple major in geography, environmental studies, and urban studies with a minor in sociology. And then I was also involved in, pretty active in my sorority, Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, and the varsity swim and dive team. So I'm super excited to talk to you all. I love being able to connect with new students or prospect students and just really tell them about what a great opportunity Ohio Wesleyan has. Jack?
Hey guys, my name is Jack Foley. I am currently a junior here at Ohio Wesleyan University. I am a double major in business administration management and communication intercorporate strategy. I am a proud member of the fraternity of Phi Gamma Delta. I'm an EMF member, Latham and Corn Scholar. I'm also the PR and marketing chair for the Interfraternal Council. And on top of that, I run my own business in the Delaware Entrepreneur Center at Ohio Wesleyan. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, everyone, for the introductions. So as we move on, for the two of you, you might have already heard of the OWU Connection, our signature program, but the goal is to encourage our students to think big, to go global, and to get real. And the great part about the OWU Connection is that it's not related to just one major, it's not related to just one category. No two students will go through the OWU Connection experience in the same way, but we all want to make sure that you're aware of these resources that all of our students are able to use from the very first day they start college all the way up until graduation and beyond. So when thinking about the three big categories of thinking big, going global, and getting real, the first is related to research. So the biggest part about research at Ohio Wesleyan is that it's available very readily able in that way. The nice part as well is that since it's a campus full of undergraduate students, there are no graduate students, all of those opportunities and resources are available for you for research. As well, for our faculty, as you'll see in the picture above, it is very much so a mentorship experience. Faculty are available. They want to make sure you have the correct resources. They want to make sure as well that you are thinking about those bigger picture items. As well, we do have grants available that will fully fund these research experiences. So we encourage you to think outside of the box, to think big, and think about these larger opportunities. For going global, when you think about studying abroad, you might think of that traditional experience where you go away for a full semester in a country that you don't typically live in, and then you come back to the country you do live in. We do have that opportunity of that semester abroad experience, but we have that and so much more. For example, in the picture that you see there is a travel learning course where students take a course in their classroom with a faculty member, and then they travel to that location afterward. And in that photo is actually students and their faculty member as well traveling to the Galapagos Island. So it's a great way to really get that experiential learning and think outside the box in that way as well. Getting real, of course, when it comes to internships and job shadowing, that's a big part of what we do. A great part of it included with job shadowing is what we call a Bishop externship experience, where our current students can shadow alumni in their day-to-day, asking those big questions and seeing if that might be the right fit for a future career. We do as well also have semester-long experiences for these internships, so that way not only are you getting this critical experience, those will also count for course credit when you come back to campus as well. And I'll invite my panelists to feel free to share any type of insight or examples or any type of overall strong experiences that you had within any of these three categories.
Yeah, sure. So I, for one, definitely embraced the go global part. I took advantage of the study abroad program at Ohio Wesleyan, and while the travel learning course that I had applied for unfortunately was so filled, we had to cap the number of students available to go. I definitely took advantage of being able to work with Oh-Wooo's program and going global and studying abroad. I chose to study in Dublin, Ireland for the entire semester, and I made so many connections just through that program alone. All of my professors, obviously being a triple major, getting the coursework to kind of line up and make sure that I was going to receive credit for all of the classes I was taking abroad. Everyone was super helpful and insightful and looking and making sure that that was going to be beneficial to me, and I wasn't going to necessarily waste a semester or lose time because I was choosing to study abroad. I think that was probably one of the biggest things that I was really very helpful and very grateful to be able to take part in. The other thing I mentioned, I think, with the Glow and Global part is that Ohio Wesleyan probably has almost 25% of students are international students, and so there's almost the sense of being a part of the larger community even while you're at OWU in itself. So I definitely think that Glow and Global is one of the biggest pictures at OWU.
I also would add that the particular picture here, Tom Dolan with the Capitol building in the back, he's class of 18, and Tom participated in our Washington semester, where students in the Washington semester go to DC for the full semester, and they take some classes at what's called the Washington Center, take 3 classes there, but all the students have an internship. And Tom's internship when he participated in the Washington semester was with Cory Gardner, the senator from Colorado, and now 2 years after graduation, or since he graduated, Tom did secure a job with the House of Representatives. He works on Capitol Hill. So there's an example of an internship leading directly to employment. As a matter of fact, Jack, you may know Chase Dusek was on a call with me the other day, and Chase is a senior now at Ohio Wesleyan, and he was with me on a high school visit the other day, a virtual high school visit, and he informed the students that I believe he's an econ major, but he has had 4 internships during his time at Ohio Wesleyan, and he already has a job offer in San Francisco. And keep in mind that this is October of his senior year. And I said to him, I said, so you're going to be moving to San Francisco after you graduate in May? And he says, well, I'm not sure. I have the offer, but I haven't accepted the offer yet because I have some other irons in the fire. So a nice position to be in based on the wonderful experiences that he's had in the small classes with the personal attention from faculty and the internships that he has had in other involvements.
Great, thank you. So as we shift over into looking at the OWU Connection in the larger scale. So like I mentioned earlier, no 2 students are going through their OWU Connection journey in the same way. These are just a few examples. There are many more on our website, depending on the major or majors that the 2 of you are considering, but just to show more of a visual picture. So for all of our students, they start out taking a first-year seminar course called the OWU Experience. And it's really diving into all of these resources and more. You're thinking about the OWU Connection, you're thinking about talking with upperclassmen to see what resources they have available, what advice and mentorship they can provide. And you are also crafting your mock schedule, not only for the following semester, the second semester of your first year, but also for the rest of your time at Ohio Wesleyan as well. So like I mentioned, these are just a few examples, but as you can see, the OWU Connection is a strong way for students to get involved on campus, to get involved off of campus and it leads to that very next experience, whether it looks like graduate school, whether it looks like that first career experience, or perhaps both at the same time as well. And so when thinking about where we're located in Delaware, Ohio. It's a small town of about 40,000 folks, and it is right next door to Ohio Wesleyan's campus. There are roughly about 45 different restaurants and cafes. So whether you are eating on campus or whether you're using some of your meal points to dine off campus, you will never go hungry. There are always great options, whether it be for snacks, cafes, places to study or relax. Delaware is there and available for you as well. There are also a few internship opportunities too located in the Delaware area. And with that, I'll turn it over to Jack to share a bit of his experiences in Delaware, both when it comes to relaxing and enjoying Delaware as a current student, and then also too about your current experiences with the Delaware Entrepreneurial Center.
Yeah, so thank you. Downtown Delaware, absolutely beautiful. Me personally, I love old aesthetic, and that's exactly how you can describe downtown Delaware and a lot of the surrounding neighborhoods. Very old-fashioned, and it's very beautiful, but has all those modern amenities that you need. Close to campus, there's a Walmart, Kroger. So for students, if you need something, you go there. But if you want to go towards Columbus, you can. And there's Polaris, which is one of the largest shopping areas that I've ever seen. But what's cool is Columbus is also one of the #1 growing areas, especially in the part where it's in Delaware County. And so if there's a chain, like food chain that you want, it's in Columbus, Ohio. So, and that's really cool. There's even food chains that I'm acquainted to back in Maryland that are here. So it's definitely a very great area for students. And in Columbus, I mean, students drive down, go to the short north, different areas in Columbus for dinner and just have a lot of fun. And then most recently, my freshman year, there was a joint venture between the city of Delaware and Ohio Wesleyan that created the Delaware Entrepreneur Center. And so it's right on campus on Sandusky Street, which runs like directly through downtown Delaware. And it's really cool. There's 6 individuals that have companies in that building. I'm one of them, but it's really awesome because there's internships that can be, given to students through that. And it's just overall a fantastic place to learn, especially if you're a business or econ student. So, yeah.
Great, thanks, Jack. And then on the other side of that too, Olivia, sharing your experience as an alum, what did it look like for you to experience Delaware and Columbus, and what were some interesting experiences perhaps that you had navigating both of those areas?
Yeah, thanks, Nicole. So I really absolutely loved Delaware myself. For my sorority, was able to travel into Columbus a lot and get to explore a lot of the scenes there. I definitely would highly recommend the Scioto Mile. That was probably one of my favorite excursions on the weekend to take some time off and do. It's like a nice little trail that's like kind of right in downtown Columbus. You can bike, walk, run, what have you through and see, it's like right along the river there. So that's like a really fun aspect and portion of Columbus, I would say. And then there's also tons of festivals like music or art festivals and music festivals that were in Columbus all the time. So I usually try and pick like 2, like one in the fall and one in the spring that I would go to and enjoy those things as well. Delaware was just absolutely wonderful because I got to get to know so many of the local business owners because it's all family run. Most of them, I should say, are all family run. And so you really have a chance to establish like a community connection with the folks that are living there. And, just being able to kind of see and experience what a small town kind of really feels like. Being from Philadelphia, for me to go to Delaware, Ohio was definitely a bit of a transition for sure, but I ended up really loving it, and I got to know so many people just because we were all together, and you get to see the same people a lot, and so you're able to really have a deeper connection, I feel. So I just think that it sits in the best place ever. Like Jack said, I mean, if you want to get out and get away, you totally can, and it's super easy, very accessible, being that it sits like kind of right in between Columbus and Toledo, almost, actually. I think, quite frankly, but I think it's just like one of the best locations, and there's really nothing else that you could actually want. Like everything you needed was right there. So super exciting.
As an OWU student, I would say most of what you're going to do will be on campus, but it's great to have these resources so near. And one of my territories, one of my areas is Washington, D.C. And there was a student from D.C. who visited about 3 weeks ago, and he had a great time on campus, said the campus is beautiful, met some wonderful people. He said, "You really like Delaware, Ohio." I'm constantly promoting Delaware as a great college town. So I asked him, "Chandler, what did you like? What impressed you about Delaware?" And he says, "Well, it's close and substantial." 3 words: close and substantial. And the close part, sometimes students ask me, is there transportation from campus into town? I say, yes, your feet. If you're walking west, you turn right. If you're walking east, you turn left. You walk about 50 steps and you're into the heart of downtown. And the substantial part, which to a degree has already been referred to, the substantial part is once you get there, there is shop after shop. There is restaurant after restaurant. There's the Strand Theater, a nice old theater on one of the side streets. But there's so much going on and so much energy. It's just a great feel, and I think it's just an extraordinary, very special college town. Which indeed, if you enroll at Ohio Wesleyan, you'll really appreciate. And then just down the road, about 30 minutes, you've got Columbus. And less than that, Jack referred to Polaris. That's actually closer, but just a lot of nice resources kind of at your fingertips.
Absolutely. I know that a common question that's often asked is whether students can bring cars to campus in their first year, and the answer is yes, you certainly can. When it comes to cars and just in general with just vehicular transportation, like everyone mentioned, Delaware is right there. You really don't need it. But if you would have a car on campus, or if you would like to have a car on campus, you can within your freshman year. There are free parking passes that you can use that allow you to park on either end of campus. And then if you want to be able to park essentially anywhere you would need to, you can also pay for a parking pass as well. So having a car on campus, it's more of a convenience than it is a necessity, but whichever way you might like to explore Delaware or explore Columbus, whether it be for fun or whether it be for internships, both are available to you, and it's pretty easy to access either way. And so one thing that we're really excited to see, I know speaking as an alum, this has been really just exciting to see this transform, is looking at Smith Hall, and then also outside of that as well are our upcoming senior apartments and Branch Rickey Arena. So for Smith Hall, that is our first year living area or our residence hall. If you haven't seen the transformation video, definitely take a look. It looks stunning. So the first half was renovated this past summer. And then the second half of it, the second wing, is currently under renovation. It'll be ready for fall 2021. So there will be, of course, living areas. There are private bathrooms, showers, toilets. There is a 24/7 dining area that you can use, whether you live in Smith or whether you don't live in Smith. And outside of that as well, there will be a fitness center, of course, laundry rooms on every floor, study rooms, really whatever you might need, it will be in Smith. It's very much so a living, learning community. And then on the bottom, as you can see, that is actually our mock-up for our senior apartments. They are currently being built and they are slated to be done for fall of 2021. And so we've had apartment style living for quite some time, but never to this type of quantity and never to this type of a senior village. So the atmosphere is meant to be a little bit more collaborative in that way. So we're excited to see that ready to go sometime soon. And then it's also a similar case too for Branch Rickey Arena. That has been going a quick renovation as we speak. And so that as well will be ready within 2021 too. So whether you're looking at any of these areas to live in or to practice in or do a quick jog if you need to, those are all some upcoming areas for renovation. And often we'll find that it's this and something else on the horizon. So definitely stay tuned for anything else that might be coming up for further renovation. But tossing it over to Jack and Olivia, I'm curious. So where are the places that you have lived, or in Jack's case, currently living? And what are some things you liked about the residential environment on campus?
So I guess I'll go first. So as a freshman, I lived in Welch Hall. Which was kind of cool. It was a sweet environment and it was also co-ed. And so the group of girls that lived across the hall, I'm still fantastic friends with them. And I'm fantastic friends with my roommates as well, and actually joined a fraternity with one of them. So currently I'm now living in that fraternity house. But Smith Hall that was just renovated, or at least the side that was just renovated, is very nice. A little bit smaller, but very updated, has AC, all the amenities that you would want. And I'm sure the other buildings will be coming along in that fashion as well. And hopefully the senior apartments are done, but I don't know. I may have to stay loyal to my fraternity house. But it's definitely gonna be interesting to see those and actually walk right in between underneath. Because I don't know if you see, but like that middle part of the senior apartments, that little pathway underneath, that goes directly, that basically points at the J, which is the center strip of the campus. And so that area right there, it's just going to have so many people going in and out every day. So that's going to be incredible to meet with friends and hang out and all that. So yeah. Olivia?
Yeah, great, thanks. So I obviously was there from 2010 to 2014 is when I was at OWU. And so I spent my freshman year and sophomore year actually living in Hayes, which is the all women's dorm. It is set up as a suite style, if it still is, set up suite style 4-person, kind of with 2 bedrooms and then a shared common space that has built-in desk area, as well as your own private bathroom between the 4 of you, and shower, living conditions. There was also, we had kitchen and kind of like lounge areas in the building as well. And so it was really great to be able to just kind of really be able to connect with and meet so many fabulous women that were attending school at the same time, and kind of be able to, you know, get your bearings and kind of like figure out where you actually wanted to be and like where your social settings were going to be and who you were going to connect with. My junior year, I moved into the renovated Stuyvesant Hall because that came online. They had finished the renovations by my junior year. And so my roommate, who I actually started with freshman year, we basically lived together through junior year. And it was absolutely fabulous. In Sty, we had it was a Jack and Jill type of setup where we had a bedroom that was for the 2 of us, and then it connected to a kind of large bathroom, shower, toilet that we then shared with our like kind of suite mates situation. So I thoroughly enjoyed that. We got a little bit more privacy. Junior year, kind of like being able to just be each other's roommate and kind of were able to deepen our relationship that way, which was really great. And then senior year, we both lived in the senior housing. And at the time, the senior housing, I actually lived in the Fiji house. Fiji was not on campus when I was a senior, 2013, 2014 year. And so seniors, they had done a bunch of renovations in Fiji. And so seniors were able to have that as senior living. So I had basically I had my own room and attached bathroom. Again, kind of Jack and Jill style, which I shared just with like one other female on the other side. So I really loved the setup. I was super close friends with a bunch of people that lived in Smith, and so we were always over there. I was also really good friends with folks who lived in Thompson Bashford, which was a freshman dorm. So I got to know a lot of really cool friends that year. But I definitely think that, you know, no matter where you're living on campus, like it's so easy and there's so many spaces to be able to connect with each other that, you know, it almost doesn't matter where you live. It's going to be great either way because there's so many options and spaces for you to get together outside of, you know, whatever your room may be.
Great, thank you for the great examples. And outside the slide as well, like Olivia mentioned, there are so many more places to live on campus outside of this. The great part is that we guarantee housing for all of our students, and it's about 85% of our students live on campus. The rest would be commuting in. So for the 2 of you, you'd be living on campus, housing is guaranteed. We do also have small living units that focus in on a certain theme. It's very much so a living, learning community. And it ranges from anything from different identities to different types of advocacy as well. And you live with right around 11 to 14 other people starting in your sophomore year. So a lot of flexibility throughout those different opportunities as well. And definitely, if you're curious to learn more, definitely check it out on our website too. And one thing I wanted to add, because it's a little bit hard to tell here in this picture, but the way that our campus is shaped is like an hourglass or like a barbell. There's been a couple of comparisons where the residential side of campus is on one side. So where you're living is all very close to each other. So it's very easy to walk next door, see a friend, walk to the convenience store, grab a snack, whatever you might need to do. And then the center of campus has Hamilton William Campus Center, or Hamwell, and one of our libraries. And then the other side of campus is our academic and athletic side of campus. So when you're living on residential side, usually it takes about 10 minutes or so to walk from where you're living to your class. So in a lot of ways, very much so, when you're in class, you're very much so focused on that. And then when you cross into other parts of campus, of course, you're going to be studying and focusing in on those areas, but you can also focus on other activities like clubs and self-care and anything else you might need to do as you're shifting from different areas of campus as well.
I don't have anything to add to that. Thank you, Nicole. But I do want to remind our students that you can put questions into Q&A either regarding things that we're addressing or other things that are on your mind. So please keep that in mind as we're going through here the last 15 minutes. Thank you.
Definitely. Thanks for the reminder, Dave. Yes, definitely. Please use the Q&A. We'd love to talk to you as you're finishing up these final thoughts as we're going through the rest of our presentation. And so as we start to shift a little bit into more about overall costs, what does it look like for financial aid as well? Similar case, a lot of this information is on our website, but I'll just break it down in a couple of points. And so if there's anything that I didn't cover on the slide that you'd like to know more about, I'm more than happy to share that as well. So when it comes to tuition, given this year, due to the global pandemic, we did freeze tuition. When it comes to a more normative year, typically tuition will increase about 3 to 5% every year. When it comes to fees, that is actually describing our activity fee. So instead of, let's say, going to an educational event or going to a concert or something that's happening on campus that includes a guest speaker or a guest performer, instead of you paying, let's say, $65 for a ticket or $70, for a ticket or whatever it might be, all you have to do is show your OWU student ID and it's free. So the activity fees are paid up front, so that way you can access whatever you need to on campus and you don't have to worry about those extra charges out of pocket time and time again. When it comes to the room cost, it's actually a flat fee. No matter whether you're living in a 2-person room or a 4-person room, that is going to be your cost, or what we call a multiple occupancy fee. If for some reason you were to live in a single room as time went along, that would increase, but otherwise that's what it looks like for the room cost. And then for board, that is the medium meal plan. That's where most of our students typically will use and where they'll land for that overall cost. What's nice about it is that there's a lot of flexibility within what you can use. I mentioned earlier that Smith Hall is 24/7 dining. What's also nice about it is that it's unlimited swipes. So no matter what time of day you are going in, no matter how many times you go in, it's going to be unlimited. There's another part as well of campus, the center of campus, Hamilton William Campus Center. There is one of the dining areas within it that you can also use unlimited swipes. In addition to that, there's dining dollar spots on campus that you can use, and then also you can use some of those dining dollars for off-campus meals as well. So the medium meal plan tends to be the best of both worlds with that flexibility, but if you need to change it to a higher amount or a lower amount, you can always change that as well. And so when it comes to average financial aid, as you can see on screen, that includes our merit-based scholarships, which this upcoming year range from $25,000 to $30,000. It also includes any grants you might receive, whether it be from the university or whether it be from the federal government, should you choose to file for that type of federal student aid. It also includes any loans you might qualify for as well. So that's why you'll see that the amount is as high as it is. And I will also add too that this is the most case-by-case slide of anything that we're talking about today. So when in doubt, definitely feel free to reach out to Dave or myself if you have those types of questions about financial aid. We're more than happy to help you out with that. We do as well have 3 full-time financial aid counselors too who are on campus, and they of course as well are more than happy to answer any questions and walk you through the process. And then as you can see at the very bottom as well, we do our very best to work with students throughout this process. It's definitely an ongoing conversation. And so that's why you'll see that the majority of our students will receive scholarships or need-based financial aid to help fund their overall college experience too. And so related to scholarships, I mentioned that range of the $25,000 to $30,000. And so for the $30,000 scholarship, our Branch Rickey scholarship, that is an automatic scholarship, which means so long as you have the criteria of a 3.6 GPA or higher, you don't have to do anything else. You don't have to submit test scores. You do not have to fill out an extra essay for submission. It's all included with what we see from your application itself. And so a big change that we've had this year is for tests optional relating to this scholarship. In the past, you did need a certain test score in order to qualify for it. But like I mentioned, as you can see on screen, we are just looking for that GPA. So if you are looking to update your GPA or any types of qualifications, we will accept those updates up until February 1st of 2021. That'll be the deadline. And upon earning this scholarship, we do also have a scholarship competition tied to earning this scholarship. So with that in mind, definitely feel free to stay tuned or ask any questions should you like to hear more about the Branch Rickey opportunity. But just to give you a quick overall view of it, it's $30,000. You don't have to do anything else to receive it other than apply, and a 3.6 GPA or higher is what we're looking for. And so as we're starting to get towards the end of this conversation, the end of our presentation, feel free, if you'd like to take a screenshot of this slide. It's also located on our website as well, and we'll actually add that link in the Q&A towards the end of it. But to highlight a few options here, the virtual tour, we have an ongoing virtual tour that you can click around and really view campus on a bright sunny day. We also have a live virtual tour as well. It's led by one of our tour guides. So if you want to see it firsthand, you can always hop on and register for that Zoom call. Otherwise, you can just explore on your own will, on your own schedule. We do have on our Discover page is number 2, a custom view book where you can really cater to whatever interest you're looking for, whatever you might like to see from us from Ohio Wesleyan. You can always just pick and choose exactly what you'd like to see. Number 3 is Bishop Banter. We are actually in the process of recording season 2 of that podcast. But in addition to that, we do also have Bishop Plus, which is full of different sessions of student panels, alumni panels, faculty and staff panels. It's a great way to learn more and to really enhance your virtual visit experience overall too. And then outside of that, when it comes to the virtual side of things, we have a lot of great opportunities, but we are also open to visitors as well. We've been open since the 1st of June, and we do have limited availability. As you can imagine, we want to stay within safety guidelines, but if you're ever interested to come out to campus, we are open on Mondays through Saturdays. So feel free to take a look at OWU.edu/visit, and that way you can explore and see from there a little bit more of what we have to offer, especially from an on-campus experience as well. And so I want to make sure that we covered your question here, Dorothy. Is there a safety app connected to the public safety office? That is a great question. So while there's not an app, every time that students are coming into campus for the very first time officially as they enroll, everyone plugs in public safety's phone number, 740-368-2222. And when you register your phone number, your name, your email address, you can also include a parent or a guardian's contact information too in that list. So that way, if anything goes on, you'll be notified. So for example, just yesterday, we had a power outage, just randomly happened, but everyone was notified to say this is what was going on, how it was being maintained, and then of course once power returned to that particular part of campus too. And so if you ever need to access public safety, whether it be to say, let's say that you're out studying a little bit later on the other side of campus, and let's say it's a cold day, maybe you don't want to walk back to your room when it's snowing, right? You can always call public safety to say, hey, would you mind giving me a ride back to my room? I would really appreciate it. And they would say, yep, we'll be over. We'll see you in about 5 to 10 minutes. So in whatever way that you see fit of locating and contacting public safety, you certainly can. And their office is also on residential side. It's actually housed on the bottom floor of Smith Hall, the first year residential hall that we talked about earlier. So great question. So long story short, you can access public safety as you see fit, mainly through their main phone line.
It's a very safe campus, and I think our student Jack and alum Olivia, who are on the who are with us, would echo that it is a safe campus and in a safe area, very much so. But it's nice too to be able to have the access to information via text, via email, via I'm trying to think how else we get notifications, but I know I get occasional notifications more often than not about a power outage or maybe something along those lines. So I don't know if Jack or Olivia has anything else to add.
I would just say that they're available like 24/7, right? So I mean, literally, if anything goes wrong, there's always someone, you know, maintaining the line or whatever. So it really doesn't matter what time of day it is. There's always someone going to be able to pick up the call and get back to you. So that's, but yeah, I've never felt unsafe.
I wanted to mention too, Nicole. Nicole mentioned the GPA required for the Branch Rickey scholarship, and I believe may have mentioned also, just want to make sure that it's clear that we are now totally test optional for admission. We used to be test optional for a 3.0 or higher. Now we are totally test optional. And we also, as Nicole indicated, are test optional, or not test optional. We don't require test scores for the merit awards. So test optional for admission, and we do not require standardized tests for the merit awards. When we are assessing applications and we're reading applications, even now this time of year, and when we are reviewing applications, we're going to look first and foremost at the transcript. We're looking for most A's and B's in the challenging curriculum, and then we're going to do what you may have heard of referred to before as a holistic review of your application. We're going to look at your common application essay. We're going to look at your activities. We're going to look at your recommendations. We're going to take all those things into consideration to determine the offer of admission.
Great, thank you for adding those points. And so as we're just wrapping up here, where there's a few more minutes left in our presentation today, definitely feel free to reach out to any of us at any time. We are available by email. For Dave and I, pretty much any way that you can possibly reach us, we are available, whether it be by email, phone call, Zoom call, Google Meet, text, in person, whatever you might need, we would be available, of course. So definitely feel free to reach any of us at any time as well. And with this QR code, this should as well lead you to our virtual opportunity. So feel free to scan that with your phone if you would like to. But otherwise, we still have a couple more minutes available should any of you have any further questions. But otherwise, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon, and we hope that you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, Ohio Wesleyan. Great job, and have a nice evening.
Okay, thanks so much.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Take care. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.